The trail to Yongjangsa Temple Site leads to one of the longest valleys and the most beautiful scenery in Mount Namsan, Gyeongju. The sounds of blue water in Yongjang Valley are roughly divided into the sound of roaring water and that of falling one. The roaring water makes a melody, the falling water forms a rhythm, combining themselves into a piece of classical music. If you wish to see the destination of today's trip far from here, you'd better find the three-story stone pagoda on the mountain ridge. That's the Yongjangsa Temple Site you will be struggling to reach. This Si-seup bridge is under construction, so you'd better give up climbing to the Yongjangsa Temple Site on the shortest way. Please mount the mountain, walk along the ridge, and come down. Go on the uphill trail to Yeongje Pass. If you go along the main trail from here about 1 kilometer, you'd find a signpost to direct the Yongjangsa Temple Site. You have to climb down the very steep mountainside. Yongjangsa Temple used to be the largest temple in Mount Namsan. However, you don't have any record of when Yongjangsa Temple was founded and ruined. It must have survived several centuries, perhaps the most enduring years among the temples in Mount Namsan. This is the very pagoda that you saw in the valley. Its part was scattered in the valley below the temple. It was in 1922 when they were collected and restored like this. There is a hole on the top where the iron rod was inserted. This pagoda is like the eye of Mount Namsan. It may be the finishing touch of the grand picture of the mountain. The whole mountain might have been awakened to life with this pagoda in Buddhist belief. The natural rock is used as a foundation. Let's go down further. First, look at the Buddha on the unique pagoda. He, perhaps Maitreya Buddha, sits on the pagoda of 3 large round stones shaped like athletic discs. You may not find such a Buddha on a 3-story pedestal anywhere else. Samguk-yusa says that when Venerable Daehyeon sometimes stepped around the Buddha below while praying, the Buddha also turned his head to watch him. This is the very Buddha who used to turn his head 1,000 years ago. The skirt of this Buddha's robe flows down over the lotus pedestal, covering it completely. This style was popular among Buddha statues during the Three Kingdoms period. Considering this style, you can infer that Yongjangsa Temple was founded during the reign of King Seongdeok of Silla. Now let's look at the rock-carved Buddha. His hair is shaped like small conches. Look at the gentle smile on the serene face. The Buddha sits with his feet on the knees on a pedestal engraved with lotus flowers. The folds of the clothes are parallel like ripples. Isn't an excellent piece of relief created in the late 8th century? If you come down further, you can see part of pagoda, the vase cover stone and roof stone of pagoda. This is where the Yongjangsa Temple buildings used to be. You can find the 3-story pagoda and the Buddha on the 3-story pedestal far uphill. This is the temple ruins where Venerable Si-seup stayed in the 15th century. Si-seup is the Buddhist name of Maewol-dang Kim Si-seup. Historically, when Prince Daehyeon usurped his young nephew's throne of the Joseon Dynasty, he couldn't contain his righteous anger and wept for 3 days and nights. He burnt up all the books he was reading, shaved his hair, and became a monk. While he was here, after some wanderings, he authors Geumosinhwa, Korea's first novel in Chinese. After the temple was ruined, a shrine was established on this site to honor the writer monk during King Yongjo's reign. When even the shrine was destroyed, Confucius managed to keep his portrait in a shrine, Yongjangsa Temple, until now. Let's try to read one of Venerable Si-seup's poems. While staying at the Yongjangsa Temple. As Yongjang Valley is deep and lonely, few visitors are coming. Bamboo bushes sprout in the rain. Wind envelops askant the wild plum blossoms. I fell asleep with a deer by a small window. An old chair is covered with dust. While not waking up under the eaves of the silver grass, flowers fall and bloom by themselves in the garden. If you stand here viewing the three-story pagoda far away, you may recall his short story, The Dice Game at Yongjangsa Temple. This is the place he composed the beautiful relic story of fatalistic love between a lad called Yang and his fascinating ghost lady. It's a great pity that there are only weeds growing on these ruins when we recollect that they loved on some bright spring days and night. When we saddened, trudged down to the bottom of the valley, the sound of water seems still to tease or compose us infinitely. This is a shame that we leave the valley, where ancient sages lived in the past, where the waned moon wandered in the sky on an autumn night, where flowers bloomed and withered unseen in spring, while the valley was echoed with clear scups owls' cries.